I'm wondering, given that that's the way you grew up, for a lot of people, college is quite transformative. A lot of
Mhm.
people say my life changed when I got to college. For you, nothing could have been further from the truth. Talk about how your views about mental health and therapy changed once you made it to college.
Yeah, definitely. So my first semester of college, being a first generation person of color, college student, like this, everything was new to me, all these different programs, I wasn't sure what to expect. But one thing that I do remember is Sacramento, like Sac State, they always promoted mental health. And especially when it came to midterms and finals, they would always, have different programming going on. They would have, therapy dogs to de-stress. And so, I was like, okay, de-stress, like, I guess I am stressed. Like, what does it actually mean to be stressed? And so going to these different programs, you actually like learn, what's going on in like your brain, what's going on with your body, not to put too much workload into one day because it can actually take a toll on you. And like, you're healthy, like you're eating, like making sure, you're drinking enough water to like survive. And so it wasn't until my second semester, because they always told us that there was like, the health and counseling department, make sure to go check it out. You already pay for it. Why not use it? So I was like, oh, like, that's pretty cool. You can go get some counseling. But growing up, I always, I've seen like, oh, only people, who have problems like need to go to counseling. And I was like, I don't have any problems. But that's not the actual case. But it wasn't until I reached like a very, very, like very low time in my life, while I was in college. I still remember it was it was a Sunday. I was in my room just, vibing out to some music. I was just laying there. My roommate was gone for the weekend. But then I just started to process everything. Like I was thinking about everything going on in my life at that time. And it was just weighing heavy on my shoulders, and I just started to bawl. And it was at that moment where I was contemplating taking my own life. I had like the means to do it. I had the tools to do it. It was just contemplating pros, cons, like, what's going to happen. Like if I take my life right now, then, everything will be good. I don't have to worry about anything. So it was just very dark. And like, even like my vision was like very dark, like looking out, like opening my eyes after crying for so long. Like it was like dark. And I just, and as you can see now, like, I didn't go through with that at the time. And so it was after that that I really thought about it, and I said, I need to go talk to someone. I need to go, use those services. So I talked to one of like my really good friends, and I told her what happened, and I said, I need to go see like what's going on right now because I just reached this like really low point, and I didn't know what to do from there. And so after that, I went to therapy. I had scheduled my first appointment later that week. And as soon as I went into the room, the person that they had appointed me to, she called me out. I went to the space, and it was just like, the movies. There's like a nice little couch and the chair where, the therapist sits. And I was like, oh, okay. And before you know it, she was like trying to dig deeper into like, what happened? Why was I like in that state in the first place? And, like what was really going on? Like, what are those underlying issues? And like within the first 10 minutes, I think I like emptied out her tissue box because I was just bawling because I had this space for the first time where I was comfortably speaking what was going on in my head because I had never before that time processed anything at all.
Let me just ask, that's a powerful story, Isaiah. I can't thank you enough for sharing it. Let me just make sure I got those steps. So do you think because Sac State had planted the seeds, so you had heard these messages about resources that were available, you thought at that time you didn't have any problems, but somehow that was buried in your head. So when you got in that dark space, those just came back to you. It just, it was the gift that you didn't realize was there for you, so to speak. And that's when you realized this is one of those situations that maybe I heard about, and so maybe I should look into resource.
Yeah. Yeah, because they provided like a lot of programming, like even within the residential halls, like the dorms, they just promoted it. And then a lot of like my friends were like, yeah, the health and counseling at the well, you already pay for it. Why not use it? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, thanks. But it was at that time where I was like really thinking about it and realized like, I really do think I need some counseling, like, because I don't think this is okay. I don't know how to get out of it. And that's the only way that I think would be able to help me is to like seek professional help.
Wow. Powerful story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.